20 what?
No, you stop talking to my friend.
Right, I'm recording for future generations. Okay, we're going to go over question one
Don't
quickly.
go to
Right.
I read that horror.
Okay, right. So,
It's horror and treachery.
all right. So let's quickly mark and then you can have a break. Okay. Ignore the idiots in the background. If anyone who's ever watches this video, it's probably never happened. Okay. So let's mark these quickly. Get a red pen out of the pencil. So first question. Use the formula, the quadratic formula to solve x correct to 2 decimal places. Even though they didn't tell you to use the formula. Okay. If it's section A and it's for 4 marks and they say solve, you will get 1 out of 4 if you use the calculator equation mode in this point of the exam. Because the question is just testing you can solve. If you get a quadratic later on, where it's part of a whole lot of other work and then you have a quadratic at the end, it doesn't matter if you use the equation. But yeah, even if they didn't say that, you would have to use the quadratic formula. Okay, if it says if your answer in third form or to 2 decimal places, that's telling you it cannot be done by factorizing. What does it mean? That mean the I don't know who that is. Right, okay. So I'm going to say x is equal to minus b. So it's going to be minus 5 plus minus the square root of. Well, first I should rewrite this equation, sorry. So it should become what? 3x squared. You always got to get the x squared on its own. So you should do that first, right? So what's a in this formula? What's b? What's c? Okay. So you just put those into the formula and you get x is equal to minus b. I'm going to make some deliverance with the h. You'll spot them. Plus minus b squared, which is minus 5 squared minus 4a is what? 3c is negative 3. Okay. Over 2 times a, which is 3. So you get x is equal to 5 plus minus. Here you're going to get 25 minus 25 plus 36, which is 61. Am I right? Okay. So you should show that step here. Now you can go straight to the answer. So the calculator, you're going to go 5 plus root 61 over 6. Show that. And get 5 minus root 61 over 6. So what were your answers to two decimal places? Satan, what's your other name? Medusa. Okay, right. So 30.
2,1.
Or?
Negative very comfortable.
Do you agree with it?
Yes. That's
Oh, yeah? Okay. Right, give yourself a mark. Right. Okay. Hence, solve a quadratic inequality. Well, that is telling us, when you solve for a quadratic equation, what have you done? So if you have the graph y is equal to something, or f of x is equal to a quadratic, okay. When you solve for f of x is equal to 0, which is what we've done here, what have you done? You said y is equal to 0. Remember your solution of the equation are the x-intercepts, right? Or the root. X-intercept, root, 0 is all mean the same thing. So you've worked out, hence means your life is a lot easier. In fact, not only that, it's saying you have to use that answer before. So what do we know? Our x-intercepts are what? Negative 0,4 and 2,14, and this is a parabola. Okay? So now we want to know, okay, where what? Where the parabola is bigger than, less than what?
Where the x doesn't things.
Okay, where the x doesn't things. No. Okay, where the y coordinates are what? Bigger than 0, right? So we're looking for where the y coordinates are bigger than 0. For which x values is the graph bigger than 0? What does that mean visually? It means where is the graph above the x-axis? So highlight where that happens. Where is the graph above the x-axis? Well, it's over here. Do it on the graph first. And it's over here. That's where the graph is bigger than 0, right? But the question is, for which x values does this happen? Okay, so it's happen. Can I include 2,14, Taylor? No, because it just says bigger than, not bigger than or equal to. So it's a round dot. There's my answer. Use your x-axis like an underline. Okay? And there is my other answer. That's where the function is positive, where the y coordinates are bigger than 0. So now you have to write the solution down. So, Kaching, what's the solution going to be? This, how do I write this region? X is what? What are the x coordinates here? They are what? Bigger than what?
Then 2,1.
Okay, so x is bigger than 2,14, you can write it like that. And this region, or x is less than negative 0,47. How else could I write that? I could write, you could pick that language, or you could pick interval notation. Did anyone do interval notation? Okay, Taylor, how would I write that region? Good. Or good, well done. Okay, so you pick one language or the other language. Those are the x coordinates where this graph is positive, right? Quadratic inequalities. Okay. If they hadn't done the first step, normally what's the step? You factorize and critical values over there. If you can't be factorized, you need to critical values just by using the quadratic form. Oh, you happy with that?
Yes.
Okay. Right. Next question. Solve for x and y is blah blah. So when you're solving simultaneous equations, where do they often ask this question? They ask it in graph interpretation. Okay, this is a parabola and a straight line. Really what we're working out is what? The coordinates of where the two graphs intersect. What do you want to always do? You want to isolate one letter and avoid fractions, right? Is one isolated? Yes. Y is equal to x. So let's call that equation 1. Y is equal to x squared plus 5x. That's equation 1. The other one, don't go get y on its own. You can if you want to. Do you want it?
No.
Okay.
No.
It's
No.
just tempting to in this case. Can we do it?
No, my baby.
We've got y on its own.
No.
Okay.
Don't do it.
Okay, well let's say we didn't. Alright, but you could have said 2y is equal to 24x, so y is 12x. It's actually an easier way of doing it probably. Okay. So, I'm going to do it like that. Okay, sorry. So, I've got 2y is equal to 24x, just because it works out nicely. So therefore, divide by 2, y is 12x. You should get the same answer, so don't panic yet. Okay. So I've got, I took that to the other side, 2y is 24x. You don't have to do it like this, so y is 12x. You could have just subbed that into that. Right? You're going to get the same answer. So if I do the way I've did, I'm going to sub 1 into 2. And you're going to get 12x is equal to x squared plus 5x. So therefore, x squared z plus 5x minus 12x is equal to 0. So you should have, no matter which way you've done it, end up with x squared minus 7x is 0. This is what we'd look for, that you got to that point. Did you? Okay, if you got to that point, you're going to, lots of people have done it different ways. That doesn't matter, but you should have ended up with that. Please do not leave out the equal to 0. You can't stop, you lose a mark if you don't write equal to 0. So what's your principle? Hey, you shouldn't really be shoving that into a calculator. Because how can you factorize? How can you factorize? So that's our common x, right? So take out x and what are you left with? If I get I'm going to force you to do that orange. So I'm going to get x minus 7 is equal to 0. So what's x equal to?
You left it 2. Where's 0?
You could have had 2 there, it wouldn't make any difference.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so you end up with what? X equals 0.
0, x equals 7.
Okay. Now then, are you finished? Okay. Are you finished? Just up.
No, bro. Sorry. I didn't mean I'm done with it. He's not supposed to tell me.
Okay, so you can sub into 1 or 2. Doesn't matter, right? Okay. So if you sub into 2, you're going to get y is equal to 12 times 0. So y is equal to 0. Okay. And if x was equal to 7, y would be equal to 12 times 7. No matter which way you did, you should get the same answers. So y is 84. If this was a graph, and they said find the coordinate, this is an full box up to there, right? If it was a graph question, and they said what are the coordinates of the point of intersection, you'd have to say the one coordinate is 0, 0, and the other coordinate is 7, 84. That's where those two graphs would meet at those 2 points.
So
Yes.
have you put the marks where you
It's difficult to quite say quickly. What's that? 5. Okay, so you definitely get a mark to get to that stage, something like that. But there's a mark for subbing in. There's a mark for getting a quadratic in this. There's a mark for your factorizing, and there's a mark for 2 answers, I would say. 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that.
Okay. So, what about 4?
one before. Just for your answers. For the 2 marks. Just your answers. Okay, right. Are we happy with that? Okay. Right. Next. Okay. Oh no, that's not question 1.
No, that is question.
Here it is. Okay. All right. Then. Okay. Okay. Solve for x. Now, we get a question like that. What is the process? Get the square root on its own, right? But there's one thing you have to remember, and then you're going to do what? Square both sides, right? There's 2 times the section in math where you've got to check your solution. One is if you have a variable in the denominator. Because in a situation like, so I had a sum that was like this. What could we get as answers? If that was x minus 2x plus 3. What could we have as answers there? X could be 2 and x could be. Okay, so if you have something else over there, you're asked to go solve. Okay, and you got 2 and negative 3, always check your answers on your restrictions. The other time we have to check is when you remove a square root sign. Okay, so the first step is what? Isolate focus. Okay, isolate this. Okay, so you're going to get root x plus 7 is equal to x plus 1 minus 6, which is x minus 5, right? Are we happy with that? Okay, now we're going to square both sides of the equation. Same easy happens here. Okay, there's error when you square out. Okay, so here that's just going to be the square and the square root cancel out. If I square this out, what am I going to get? X squared minus 10x plus 25. Don't forget that middle term. Okay, it's a quadratic view. Get everything to one side. So I'm going to have 0 is equal to x squared minus 11x. 25 minus 7 is minus 18. If you hate factorizing, okay, we wouldn't penalize you for not factorizing. You just write the answers down. But it does factorize to 0 is equal to x minus 9x plus 2. But in this case, you went straight to that.
It's plus 18.
Plus 18.
Yes.
Okay, so it's x minus 9, x minus 2. Thank you. Okay, he spotted my deliberate error. Well done. Okay, so x is 9 or x is 2. Right. In section A, I would just to be safe pretend you factorized. So to calculate splits out 9 and 2, go back and write x minus 9. Okay,
So
x minus 2. But so do this first. No, I'm not finished. Okay, and then go back and do that. Take factorizing. Just remember, if I get x equal to calculate an equation and I get x is equal to half, or x is equal to negative 2 over 3, and you want to pretend you factorize it, what would you have to do? Time first, right? So you get 2x is equal to 1, and you've got to get the thing equal to 0. So the one factor would be 2x minus 1. The other factor would be what? That's minus 2 over 3. It's 3x plus 2 is 0, right? So factorize to 2x minus 1, 3x plus 2. In section A, I would generally pretend I factorized. In section B, I definitely wouldn't bother. Okay, so when I have to go check that my answers are valid, you don't have to show your check. But what has to happen? When I sub back in to the original equation, okay, the left-hand side must balance with the right-hand side, because that's what you do when you're solving an equation, right? So in your get your calculator and sub in x is equal to 9 into the left-hand side. When I put x is equal to 9 on the left-hand side, I mean, if you want to, you can write the left-hand side will be 9 plus 7 is 16, square root of 16 is 4. Okay, am I right? 6 plus 4 is 10, so the left-hand side is 10, and if I 9 to the right-hand side, you get 10. So it satisfies the equation, it balances the equation. So 9 is valid. If I sub in 2, the left-hand side will be 2 plus 7 is 9, the square root of 9 is 3, 6 plus 3 is 9, so the left-hand side is 9, but the right-hand side will be 3. 2 does not lead to the equation being satisfied, right? So the mark is allocated. You get 1 mark for each of those steps. Okay. If you didn't write the mark, you get 1 mark. This is why I'm here. Right. Are we happy with that, guys? Okay. Give yourself a mark. Right. Then it says, okay, if the first 3 terms of a geometric series, so immediately you know geometric has what? The time to get from one term to the next. So there is got to be talking about a constant ratio, right? Okay, and the terms are 2, 6, 18. Okay, then what will be the value of n, s, n is that? So let's always with sequences write down what you know. First of all, we know that it's geometric sequence, right? We know the value of the first term is? What is your ratio? It's the number that you times by to get from one term to the next. Remember, in general, your ratio is equal to the value of a term divided by the term before, right? That should give you the same number. Check. What's 6 divided by 2? 3. What's 18 divided by 6? 3. It's geometric, right? So we know our ratio is 3. Okay, I always do this little summary, okay, for sequences. So I've got ratio is 3, it's a geometric, A is 2, okay, Sn, they tell us is 177146, and what's the question? Solve for n, right? So generally, once you've done a summary, go to your formula sheet and find a formula that links up Sn, N, A, and R. Find that formula. Okay? It links up those things. Sequences and series, your formula sheet is really important, right? Okay. So you find a formula. Okay. What's the formula going to be?
Sn is equal to A.
Sn is equal to over
R.
So that's the formula that links up those letters. Fish? Right, now I put the numbers in. So I get 177146 is equal to, A is 2, okay, R is 3. Remember, if it's a negative, that negative has to go into a bracket. If R was negative 3, the negative 3 must be in a bracket. 3 to the N, watch where the 1 goes. Remember, in the Tn formula, the 1 is an exponent. Here, it's at the bottom end. Right, so I get 2, 3 to the n minus 1 over r, which was what? 3 minus 1 gives you 2. Right, I've got to solve for n. So, well, the 2's will cancel, right? So I end up with, I add 1 here, 177146. Okay, I'm going to add 1, sorry, so it's going to become 147. I'm going to move that 1 across. Is equal to 3 to the n, right? Okay. How do I solve for an exponential equation? Write it as logs, right? Okay. So how do I write this as logs? What was your base? Stay your base. So my base is 3, so the base of my log is going to be 3. Okay. The exponent goes on your own, and that goes there, right? Okay. So I'm going to get log base 3 of 177147 is equal to n. Chuck it into your calculator, everybody. What should n be? It must be a natural number. If you get a decimal, you made a mistake. Because n is what? The number of terms. The number of terms is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, blah, blah, blah. So what did you get?
N, no, wait. My friend is talking.
Oh, yeah. Right. Okay. You want a break?
That would be amazing.
Okay. Right. Have a 5 minute break.
You're so sweet.
I'm amazing. Okay.
My friend, I'll always have your back.
Will you?
It's a half.
It's
It's so
so
small. It's a half. It is negative. Wow. It's negative a half.
No, but why didn't you put the 1 over 3 here? You minus it. You're so smart. Oh my God, she's so flippin' smart.
So smart.
You are incredible, Teko. You are that hand and you are the girl. No, you did